welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be talking about the morphology of cell injury. This is the last subtopic or subheading under the topic cellular adaptations and cell injury. I've talked about cell structure, cellular adaptations, cell injury, etiology and types of cell injury, pathogenesis of cell injury caused by ischemia and hypoxia. The link to the videos is in my description box. Today I'll be talking about the morphology of cell injury. Morphology simply means structure, and don't forget that cell injury occurs when the cell is no longer able to adapt to the increasing physiological demands or stress. Cell injury is of two types: reversible cell injury and irreversible cell injury. Reversible cell injury is when the cell returns to its normal state after the stress has been removed, whereas in irreversible cell injury, the cell reaches to a point of no return and dies. So irreversible cell injury will result in cell death. That is the ultimate result of cell injury. Cell death is the ultimate result of cell injury. Okay, now back to our topic for today: morphology of cell injury. I've already explained what morphology means literally and what cell injury means. So this simply means the structure of an injured cell. You don't expect an injured cell to still look the same way it was before it was injured. There will be changes in the structure due to the injury. These changes occur in the forms of biochemical or molecular changes and the light microscopic morphologic changes, which can be seen with the aid of the microscope, the light microscope. So we have discussed the molecular and biochemical mechanisms of cell injury caused by ischemia. We now turn to the light microscopic morphologic changes of reversible and irreversible cell injury. The morphologic forms of reversible cell injury are classified under this heading. Number one is hydropic change, which is also known as cloudy swelling or vacuolar degeneration. The second one, fatty change. Number three, hyaline change. And number four, mucoid change. So these morphological changes were previously known as degenerations, but currently the term retrogressive changes or simply reversible cell injury are applied to the non-lethal cell injury. Now let's look at these changes one after the other. The first one there is hydropic change. Hydropic change means the accumulation of water within the cytoplasm of the cell. Remember that the cytoplasm of the cell is a gel-like ground substance in which the organelles are suspended in. So cells which accumulate water within the cytoplasm may burst due to the increased amount of fluid and form a vesicle. Vesicle is a fluid-filled sac. Hydropic change can be seen in the epithelium of the skin and mucous membrane of the body. Etiology of hydropic change: it can be caused by mechanical injury, burns, chemical injury, infections caused by virus like foot and mouth disease virus, pox virus, and so on. Grossly, there is vesicle formation. There's also accumulation of fluid under superficial layer of the skin or mucous membrane. Then microscopically, the cell size increases due to accumulation of clear fluid in the cytoplasm of the cell. The next morphologic form we'll be looking at is fatty change. Fatty change simply means the accumulation of fat in the intracellular space of either the liver, kidney, or heart. Etiology: it is caused mainly by increased release of fatty acids and decreased oxidation of fatty acids. Grossly, the affected organ is enlarged and cut surfaces are bulging and greasy. The color of the organ changes, and the color will depend on the natural color of the fat of the species of animal and amount of fat present. So it is white in cats, yellow in cattle, and orange in horses. Microscopically, intracellular deposition of fat droplets is seen. Okay, the third morphologic form is hyaline change. Don't forget we've talked about the hydropic degeneration, fatty change. This is the third one, which is called hyaline change. The word hyaline means glassy. Hyaline is a descriptive histologic term for glassy, homogeneous, eosinophilic appearance of material in hematoxylin and eosin stent sections and does not refer to any particular specific substance. Okay, so the affected cells and tissues lose their structural characteristics and fuse together into a homogeneous mass. So the last morphologic form that I'll be talking about is the mucoid change. This is the appearance of glycoprotein that is similar to mucin in connective tissues. Etiology. Some of the causes of mucoid change include connective tissue tumors known as the myxomas and myxosarcomas. In cachectic animals, mucoid change also occurs in cachectic animals as a result of starvation, parasitism, or chronic debilitating disease. Grossly, the affected tissue is shrunken, flaccid, and flabby in consistency and has a translucent jelly-like appearance. So microscopically, the degenerating tissue stains more intensely blue with hematoxylin. The nuclei are hyperchromatic and the fluid in the intracellular spaces has a slightly bluish tinge. Okay, still under the morphology of reversible cell injury, we've talked about the hydropic change, fatty change, hyaline change, and mucoid change. Okay, so let's look at intracellular accumulations. Intracellular accumulation of substance in abnormal amounts can occur within the cytoplasm or nucleus of the cell. An example of intracellular accumulation is the accumulation of fats within the cytoplasm of the cell. Intracellular accumulation of substance in mild degrees causes reversible cell injury, while more severe damage results in irreversible cell injury. There are three pathways by which cells can accumulate abnormal substances. The first one is a normal substance may be produced at a normal or an increased rate, but the metabolic rate is inadequate to remove it. An example of this type is fatty change, which I have explained. The second one is a normal or an abnormal endogenous substance accumulates because of genetic or acquired defects in its metabolism, transport, or secretion. Example, a genetic enzymatic defect in a specific metabolic pathway resulting in disorders called lysosomal storage disease. The third pathway is an abnormal outside substance may accumulate because of the cell has neither the enzymes to degrade the substance nor the ability to transport it to other sites. Example, accumulations of carbon, that's anthracosis, or silica particles, that's silicosis in the lungs. Let's look at pigments. Pigments are colored substance. They are either endogenous, that's synthesized within the body of the animal, or exogenous, that's coming from the outside. Endogenous pigments include melanin, lipofuscin, and certain derivatives of hemoglobin, such as hemosiderin, which causes a condition called hemosiderosis. Porphyria, bilirubin. Bilirubin causes a condition known as jaundice or icterus, which the yellow discoloration of the skin and sclera occurs when bilirubin is increased in the blood. That's hyperbilirubinemia. Jaundice is of three types: hemolytic or prehepatic jaundice, toxic or intrahepatic jaundice, and obstructive or posthepatic jaundice. That's it on endogenous pigments. Let's look at exogenous pigments. Exogenous pigments come from the outside of the body. They are not synthesized within the animal body. The lungs and their lymph nodes are the reservoir of various dust particles that are inhaled in the air. The dust particles act as mild irritants and induce slight increase in connective tissue. So the dust particles within the lungs will result in fibrosis and an accumulation of macrophages. This condition is called pneumoconiosis. Other exogenous pigments include carbon or coal dust, which causes anthracosis. That's the position of carbon or coal dust is known as anthracosis. Iron, siderosis, silicon, silicosis, lead and hydrogen sulfide, plumbism, asbestos, asbestosis, calcium carbonate, chalicosis. Okay, so that's it for today, guys. In my next video, I'll be talking about the morphology of irreversible cell injury, that is cell death. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell icon so you get notified